The US races Russia and China to make a computer that can break all codes and reveal all secrets.
Act 1. Fade in. Exterior. Army Research Lab, morning. Establishing shot of the Army Research Lab, ARL. Interior. General Kruger's office, morning. General Abe Richardson, 58, large affable black man, knocks on the door jamb of General Maisie Kruger's office and walks in. She is white, 62, dark blonde, and average height. Kruger. Richardson, I'm glad you are early. Close the door. Richardson closes her door. Kruger. This program status meeting is important to all these companies we have been spending money on. I'm not happy, and I hope for their sake I hear something promising today. This technology will change the world, and our vendors are not taking this as seriously as they should. Richardson. I kind of enjoy it when you're mad and it's not directed at me. Kruger shrugs her shoulders. Kruger. Come on, let's go listen to the BS artists try to con us for more money and time. Maybe for once we'll hear something useful. She looks intensely at Richardson. Kruger. We don't need progress. We need a breakthrough. Interior. Outside the auditorium, morning. Richardson and Kruger approach the security checkpoint at the auditorium. The guards salute and open doors for them. The room buzzes with all the big companies present with their program management and staff, interested ARL project managers, and ARL senior staff keeping abreast of quantum technology. Interior. Auditorium, morning. The lights dim and people settle in. Richardson kicks off the meeting. Richardson. Welcome to our vendors and to all interested ARL people. This is our 23rd quarterly quantum program status meeting. Quantum programs are important to the Army as it offers material improvements in offensive and defensive cyber operations, enhanced intelligence and surveillance, and more. All of this is very important to the United States Army. I'd now like to introduce the head of ARL, Major General Kruger. Interior. Auditorium, morning. General Kruger walks up to the podium, Brigadier General Richardson steps back and to the side. Kruger. I'd like to welcome everyone. I want to tell you I'm concerned as I have a long memory and remember the promises all of you have made about your technology. I'm not seeing the progress we both have hoped for. So, that said, I'm very eager to hear that it is now within reach. She looks at Richardson. Kruger. General Richardson, you may now get things started. Richardson returns to the dais. Richardson. I want to remind everyone that all the companies will be worried about revealing too much to their competitors, so keep this in mind. With that said, I'd like to introduce our first vendor. Interior. Auditorium, morning. Each vendor gives a short presentation. One company shows how they are going to reach 2,000 qubits by 2030. Another shows a roadmap of materials, hardware, and software through 2035. Still another shows off an ultra-fast error correction capability and says they will be a 1,000 qubits by 2027. Each company in its turn fields questions from the audience. Interior. Auditorium, morning. After the presentations, Kruger returns to the stage and looks around. Kruger. All of you companies work for me. Where is my scalable solution? Where is my quantum internet? Where are my enhanced intelligence and surveillance? She put her hands on the dais. Kruger. What I have gotten for my money so far is 1. Overhyped promises versus technical reality, 2. Exponential error rates, 3. Massive overhead for error correction, 4. Shit decoherence times. I have legitimate technical concerns that none of your architectures will ever work. She waited a moment for her words to land with the audience. Kruger. Essentially what you all have achieved is a proof of concept, but no usable tools. I did not hear anything in this meeting today to make me change my mind. She paused for effect. Therefore, to any contract managers here today, I'm invoking Clause 43 in all your contracts. You are all being terminated for convenience, my convenience. Tell your people today is their last day, and to clear out any personal effects by close of business. Security will collect your badges, and your email accounts will be deleted. Interior. General Kruger's office, morning. After the meeting, Kruger and Richardson meet at her office to discuss the path forward. Kruger. I don't blame you for this mess. They all promised shit they couldn't deliver. You did the best you could with a pack of liars. Richardson. What do you think we should do? Kruger. Get some young geniuses in here that think they can build something useful. Richardson. So you want me to hunt for talent? Try and build it in-house? I would enjoy that. Kruger. Go to it, General. Exterior. Rare Earth Crystals Building, afternoon. Establishing shot of Rare Earth Crystals office building. A cab pulls up at an office in Reston, Virginia. Dr. James Williams, 27, PhD from California Institute of Technology. Above average height, gets out and walks into the office. Interior. RECHR Director's Office, afternoon. The receptionist leads James to the HR Director's office. The HR Director, Holly Brandt, 41, brunette hair, average height, stands up and walks around to shake James' hand. Brandt. James Williams. Hello, I'm Holly Brandt. Please have a seat. James. Thank you. Your offices are very impressive. Brandt. I have your resume here. Newly minted PhD from Caltech. You've been working on quantum crystals already, I see. James nods. Brandt. Why REC, may I ask? James. Basically, I want to break the scale barrier quantum computers are faced with. I know this is a problem REC is working on. I have some ideas I'll bring to fruition here. Director. Well, we are certainly interested in candidates with your credentials. Interior. HR office, early evening. The CEO Harry Wilson, 47 and HR Brandt, talk about James. Wilson. Impressive, isn't he? He has a killer resume and already has experience making quantum computer hardware. I like him. Brandt. Easily the best candidate we've had so far. He really seems to have some good ideas. We need to hire him. Wilson. His credentials will also play well with investors. 1 year later. Interior. REC Labs, afternoon. James and the technician work on purifying europium. James. What's the purity? Technician 1. We are 99.9+%. We are experiencing diminishing returns with each solvent wash. It's going to take us a long time to get past 4 nines. I don't think it's a solvent issue. We need new ideas. James. That's what I'm going to speak about at the MIT symposium next week. I'll think about how to break through this barrier. I suspect there is a relationship between europium purity and decoherence time. I'd like to work up equations of state to understand things better. Interior. MIT conference, morning. James gives his talk. James. We can solve decoherence by several methods. I will not talk about error correction today, and I believe everyone understands the noise reduction problem and various ways to remove thermal noise. What I'm going to talk about is hyper-pure crystals. James' computer shows slides and talked about what REC was doing. James: we use a solvent extraction process on either monazite or bastnasite to extract europium. We have no problems getting better than 99.9% purity, but we get stalled there. We'd like to take the process beyond 3 nines and take it to 6 nines. Essentially 1,000 times more pure. We think a crystal this pure, given other considerations are mitigated, could have a decoherence time of more than 6 hours. Let me show you the calculations. He put up a slide showing the mathematics of extending decoherence times. He kills the computer projection. James: I'll take questions now. Points at Audience 1. Audience 1. Have you ever made ultra-pure europium? James: no. Points at Audience 2. Audience 2. Assuming stability in cold temps, if I buy an REC crystal, what is my expected decoherence time? James: typically about 6 minutes without any error correction. Points at Audience 3. Audience 3. How good can you make error correction? James: this is a software question and I'm the hardware person. Interior. Conference mixing area, early evening. A Chinese woman, Liang Wei, comes over and introduces herself. Liang: I enjoyed your talk. I'm working at Stanford in the same area. My name is Liang. James: laughing: I'm James. Do you know how to solve the problem? Liang: not yet. That's why I want to follow your work. They talk for a while and she gives him her business card. He fishes into his pocket and gives her his. Interior. James' home, evening. He walks into his house, hangs up his coat, and puts down his briefcase. Interior. Home office, evening. James checks his email and sees one from Liang. Computer display. Hi James, this is a test email. I enjoyed meeting you. Let me know you got this. Thanks, Liang. He sends back a reply. It was nice meeting you too. And I promise to keep in touch. Obviously you can see I got your email. I just got in, so I'm going to get dinner. Take care, Jay. Interior. Chengdu, Chinese Cyber Army, display, day. Under a sign that says Jade Mirage, James' email header is prominently displayed. Interior. REC Lab, day. James and a technician work with I.B.MSRXN examining europium's properties. James: holy shit. Screw messing with the crystal structure. At warm temperatures europium becomes paramagnetic. I already know the impurities are not magnetic at all. Can you tell what I'm thinking? Technician 1. You can see it might work with a strong magnet. This might be what we've been looking for. James: use this formula and figure how strong the magnet needs to be. Technician goes to his cubicle and works on the formula. He comes back an hour later. Technician 1. I got 20 Teslas, maybe a little more. Should I get them from stock? James: yes, listen, 20 Tesla magnets are very strong, and they can seriously injure you. Okay? Technician 1. Yeah, got it. James: go get the magnets and I'll start melting a little europium in a ceramic crucible. The tech comes back with the magnets and waits while the europium melts. Once the europium melts, they bring the magnet slowly down, until a bubble of molten europium appears. James: Harvest the top of the bubble and read the purity. James nervously and walks around while the tech works. Technician 1 looks up from the spectrometer. Technician 1. 99.99% pure. James. It worked. Let's keep going and see how pure we can make it. The technician goes to his area with equations he copied from RxN and works on the math. Technician 1. Hey James, this is very good news. According to these equations we could make very pure europium in just 3 passes. Like 6 nines. Maybe more. We need a bigger crucible and a ceramic oven. Interior. Supervisor's office, day. James and the technician go to their supervisor's office. James. We think we've figured out how to make 6 nines pure europium. Their supervisor looks up from reading a report. Supervisor. How? James. We liquefy the europium and use a powerful magnet to pull out impurity-free europium. We place the molten europium under the magnetic field for an hour, skim it, then repeat. Technician 1. 1 skim should be 6 nines. My calculations say no more than 3 skims for enough to make our crystal with radically improved decoherence. Supervisor. What do you need? James. A large ceramic oven, a good one. Tungsten skimming tools, and powerful electromagnets. Around $10,000 total. We'll need time to buy the equipment and figure out the process, say 2 months tops. Supervisor. Okay, let's get a meeting with the Wilson. Interior. REC CEO office, day. The technician, James, and supervisor meet in the C.E.OS office. As they walk in, James and the technician talk. They stop talking and let the supervisor speak. Supervisor. James has figured out a method where we might purify europium to 6 nines, or even higher. James. We could own the europium yttrium orthosilicate marketplace. Wilson. Will it cost us any money? Supervisor. $10,000 plus it will cost us a couple months to purchase equipment. Then we need to establish a repeatable process for ultra-purified europium. Wilson. That's interesting, but we have a bunch of sales contracts that are going to hit. I need 120 crystals in inventory for fulfillment, right now. We can't wait. The bottom line is the timing is wrong for us, plus we need money badly. James, we need you making crystals for sales. This can wait. James. Even if it means we own the europium. Yttrium orthosilicate crystal marketplace? CEO. Can you guarantee you will be successful? James. No, I can't guarantee it, but I'm 95% sure. CEO. Then as soon as we book this quarter's sales, let's try it. Interior. James' lab bench, later. Computer display. James checks his email and sees a message from Liang. Hello James. I'm working on the decoherence problem and am getting nowhere. Do you have any ideas to share? Interior. James' lab bench, day. Computer display. James sends back the following message. Hi Liang. No, I'm busy making crystals right now. Check back in a few months. What I can tell you is avoid thermal destruction of coherence by cryo technique and drastic reduction of vibration. Interior. Colleague house, evening. James goes to a Christmas party. He notices a young pretty woman, who also looks intelligent. He sees her looking at him, so he goes over and introduces himself. James. Hello, I'm James. Lorraine. I'm Lorraine Chen. James. I haven't seen you before. You live around here? Lorraine. I came down with some friends from Baltimore, where I go to school. James. I work in Reston and live in Old Town. Say, you don't look Chinese at all. You look naturally blonde and well. Lorraine. I'm only a quarter, the rest is Scandinavian and English. I love Old Town. So many great restaurants. James. So, what are you studying? Lorraine. I'm a third-year med student at Hopkins. What do you do? James. I work at REC in Reston. I have a PhD from Cal Tech. REC is making crystals for quantum computers. Lorraine. Are you from California? James. No, I grew up in northern New Jersey. You want to exchange contact info? Lorraine. Sure. They bring their phones together to share contact info. James. Can I get you a drink? Interior. James Townhouse, Old Town, Alexandria, evening. James works with the RxNAI. He sees an email from Liang. Computer display. Hello James and happy holidays. I'm having problems with thermal fluctuations. You have any ideas? James wrote back. Cool everything down to under 4 Kelvin. Get an instrument to check vibrations in the lab. Road noise from a block away can mess things up, and happy holidays to you. Do Chinese celebrate anything this time of year? She replies. Christian Chinese do, but most don't. However, I like Christmas. Interior. James Townhouse in Old Town, Alexandria, evening. James' phone rings, and James answers it. Lorraine. Hello James? It's Lorraine. James. I was just thinking of calling you. You must be channeling me. How are you? Lorraine. I'm great, you? James. I'm frustrated with work, but I'm otherwise great. So, to what prompted you to call? Lorraine. I've got some time off and I thought we could do something. James. I'd love that. We could grab some dinner and go hear some music or take in a movie. Really anything. Do you have a place to stay? Or should I come up there? I have a townhouse in Old Town if you want to come here. Lorraine. I have a friend down there I can stay with. I can come down early Friday evening if that works. James. It works great. I'm excited to see you. Interior. Old Town Restaurant, evening. Lorraine and James eat dinner at Vola's. Lorraine. This is a great place. James. Glad you like it. A waiter walks over. Waiter. Would you like to see our wine list? James. What would you recommend? Waiter. Red or white? James. Red. Waiter. It's an Australian Shiraz. I'll be right back with it. Lorraine. One thing I hate about med school is all the memorization. I'm jealous of you studying physics and chemistry. Learning how to think about the world. How about you? James. I'm having problems with work. I found a way to increase the time for decoherence, but management won't spend the money and time until sales revenue increases. I've discovered something really important. But they are not that interested yet. Lorraine. What did you discover? James. The materials we are working with need to be very pure. One of them, europium, is really difficult to get ultra pure. I think I may have found a way to do that. Lorraine. Why is that a problem? James. I need a few months to verify I can do it, but we have customers that need crystals now, and management wants me to focus on that. I wonder if I should go someplace that has a lot of money? I don't want to wait. Lorraine puts her hand on his. You are young and smart. Follow your gut. Interior. James' bedroom, evening. James and Lorraine sleep in his bed. Interior. James' office at home, morning. Computer display. He sends an email to Liang. Morning Liang. Hope you are well. I've been frustrated with management at REC and wonder if I should take my ideas someplace else. What do you think? Liang responds. If you've got good idea, take it to ARL. They have great facilities and obviously money. Plus they are not far away. I have a former colleague there, and he likes it a lot. James responds. Do they know anything about quantum computing? Liang responds. They have at least 4 projects going on with all the big vendors. I'm sure they could fit you in some place. Interior. Chengdu facility, evening. Chengdu analyst notes the email exchange. Interior. James' office at home, morning. Liang sent another email. Computer display. She asks about the value of using electromagnetic fields in the purification process. James responds. I can't talk about it. Sorry. Interior. James' house, morning. James and Lorraine discuss his work at the kitchen table. James. So how was med school this week? Lorraine. Internal medicine was pretty much my week, that and surgery. How about you? James. I'm worried about building a large quantum computer. I don't think that any one nation should have such a powerful tool. Lorraine. Can you explain why? James. It is sort of like the concept of mutually assured destruction by nuclear weapons. The best deterrent is knowing the other side can hurt you as much as you can hurt them. Lorraine. I had no idea you were swimming in these waters. James. Can't blame you, but you know? I've decided something. She raises her eyebrows. James. I'm going to send my resume to ARL. Exterior. Army Research Lab, day. Establishing shot of ARL facility. Interior. ARL office, day. Colonel Johns approves James' resume and wants him to do an interview. He calls General Richardson. Johns. General Richardson? Listen, I've got a bright penny to interview. If he's as good as he looks on his resume, he's somebody we want to hire. However, you are better at the touchy-feely things than I am. Richardson. Sure. When is he coming in? Johns. Don't know yet, but soon. Couple of days at most. I'll let you know. Interior. ARL building, day. James walks into John's office. Johns. Hello, Colonel Johns. Nice to meet you. James. Dr. Williams. Nice to meet you too. Have a seat. Johns. I see you have a PhD from Caltech in chemistry. James. Yes. Johns. And you are working down in Reston, on quantum computer hardware. What made you want to talk to ARL? James. I'm having problems with my management. I think I've found a way to make ultra-pure europium, which will improve decoherence time, but they don't want to see if I can do it. They need me to make crystals supporting sales, and I don't want to wait months. I understand the equations of state between the purity of europium and decoherence time. Johns. Are they tight on resources? James. Yes. But if I'm right, they can own the quantum system market. Johns. Do you think you're right? James. Yes. Johns. If we were to bring you in, what else would you need? James. Well, equipment to manage the melting and cooling of materials. Solvents, cryogenic gear, optical hardware and software, and hardware engineering. We need a complete team, capable of system engineering. There are some people doing software engineering at RPI that I'd want. I'd need an expert at mathematics, probably from MIT. I'd need IT tech support, and some hardware support as well. Finally, some administration and lab monkeys. Johns. What do you think your budget would be for the first year? James reached into his briefcase and pulled out a 3-year spreadsheet. James. Here are my expected costs for the next 3 years, assuming you've already got sunk costs for the lab, office space, and conference rooms. Colonel Johns took the paper and looked at it for a while. Johns. Okay, I understand. So tell me, why do you want to build a quantum computer? James. There is nothing more exciting going on in chemistry, and I want to solve the scale problem. We are going nowhere with the tiny systems we currently have. Johns. You sound confident. James. The physics is there, so it's now a matter of engineering. Johns. Okay. I'm going to send you to General Richardson now. Interior. General Richardson's office, day. James walks in and they shake hands. Richardson. John seems to like you, so that's good. Especially your budget. So tell me, why do you want to come to work at ARL? James. I know how to make a very large quantum computer. It consists of a very pure europium yttrium orthosilicate. I'm going to use niobium phosphate for optical interconnect. It will give us long decoherence times. Richardson. How large is your design? James. Several 100,000 qubits, I hope. Richardson is stunned. Richardson. And you know how to make this? James. Yes. As I told Colonel Johns, the physics works, so it is just an engineering problem. Richardson. What are your salary requirements? James. At REC my base is $120,000 per year with a bonus target of $50,000 plus stock options on 10,000 shares. Richardson. I can hire you as a contractor for $150 per hour plus a performance bonus of up to $100,000 annually. There are no stock options, but we have great medical and dental. But there is a catch. James. Yes? Richardson. You will need to get an updated security clearance. We checked and REC got one for you, so it should be easy. James. Okay, put it in writing and I will give it serious consideration. Richardson. Thank you, Dr. Williams, depending on the security clearance, you should have the paperwork in a few days. Interior. General Kruger's office, day. The last interview is with Kruger, Richardson, and Johns in attendance. Kruger. Gentlemen, I understand you have a brilliant candidate for me. One who has been active in the industry. Richardson. Yes, sir. He is working in Reston making quantum memory crystals. Kruger. So James, what is your confidence level can build it? James. 100%, if I get the money and resources. I can get higher levels of purity than I did at REC, and that will produce the result. The physics is right. It's just a matter of engineering. Kruger. Just engineering. How long until one is working? James. Less than a year. Kruger looks at Richardson. Kruger. Do you think he can build it? Richardson. Yes. Kruger. Has he shown you the engineering problems? Richardson. Yes. Kruger. And you think they can be solved? Richardson. Probably. This is the best idea I've seen so far. What he proposes is a game changer compared to what we have now, and he has made a prototype to test his results. We should give him a shot. Interior. James' home office, day. James is on his computer using Zillow to look for houses in Adelphi, close to ARL. He finds a small 3-bedroom house. James. On a quiet street about 1 mile from ARL. I can use the rest of my trust fund to buy it, and I'll rent out my townhouse in Old Town. He calls up the realtor. James. Hello, my name is James Williams, and I'd like to look at the house in Adelphi. Realtor. How about tomorrow, Sunday, say noon? The house is empty and the owners are anxious. James. If I like it, I can pay cash. But I want to negotiate. Are you down with that? Realtor. Absolutely. You have strong hands. James. I'll see you tomorrow then. Interior. James' house Wednesday, early evening. James hears the doorbell and he opens it. There is a package from ARL for him sent by FedEx. He waves to the driver getting back in the truck. He opens it. James. It's the offer. Everything Richardson said, contingent on getting a clearance. Interior. REC Lab, day. James gets an email from General Richardson. Computer display. Dr. Williams, I'm pleased to inform you have your clearance. Do you accept the offer? James replies. Yes, I'm giving my 2-week notice today. I will mail you the signed contract tomorrow. Interior. General Richardson office, day. Richardson meets with Cyber Defense Command Officer, Larry Mason, 39 years old, white, about James and the project. Richardson. This quantum computer project is hugely important and James will leading it. I have a funny feeling about Dr. Williams. I think he's going to do it. Mason. Excellent. Don't worry. We'll do everything possible to protect Dr. Williams and his work. Interior. James' home office, evening. James sends Liang an email from his Caltech account telling her he got the job at ARL. Interior. Chengdu facility, day. An analyst notices the exchange. Interior. James' home office, later evening. James talks on the phone with Lorraine. James. I gave my notice today at REC, so that's done. Lorraine. Was it hard to do? James. Surprisingly easy. I thought about you, telling me to follow my gut. And I am. Listen, let's do something this weekend. Lorraine. I want to come down and stay with you, but I have to study, so I'm bringing reference books. James. I'll get us a nice restaurant to celebrate. Interior. Chengdu facility, day. Chengdu analyst sees James is now working at ARL. He increases the importance of the surveillance. Act 2. Interior. ARL Quantum Lab, day. James draws on a CAD system the architecture of the quantum memory system. He gets the first draft done. James. This a good enough draft. I'll send this to Richardson and send a procurement list by COB. James sends the drawing. He continues to work at his desk and generates a procurement list for Richardson, and sends it. Interior. Richardson's office, day. Richardson sees James' email and reads them. He sends back an email. Come see me first thing tomorrow and we'll discuss. Interior. Richardson's conference room, next morning. Richardson reviews James' procurement list. Richardson. This monazite is enough to last? James. I won't need N more for a successful proof of concept. Same goes for the yttrium and niobium phosphate. We'll need much more when we start making these for the Army's use. Richardson. How about this IT configuration? James. I hope to fix the decoherence problem with the europium purity, so we need a small cluster of these little monster machines to clock the quantum memory. Richardson. Tell me about the people. James. The IT people are needed to keep the Threadrippers running. I need the hardware people to help with the crystal manufacture and the interconnects. I'll need a lab rat for miscellaneous jobs, and a systems expert. I need a top-notch software person that has worked with quantum memories before. Finally, I'll need a top-notch mathematics expert. And, ultimately, someone skilled in cryptography. Richardson. What are your biggest problems? James. Purifying europium to 7 nines and the optical interface. Interior. Quantum lab, days later. James works on the quantum memory design when Richardson comes in. Richardson. I'm here to tell you your budget for $6 million is approved. Everything is to me marked secret. Interior. Richardson's conference room, next morning. James and Richardson sit at the conference table discussing resumes. James. Here are some good hardware people. One already has a security clearance. Richardson hands him a resume. Richardson. Check this person out. James looks at the resume carefully. James. She's from Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute. She's developed software for I.B.MS Eagle and Osprey and Google's Willow. She's built her own runtime environment called QRE. We have to have this woman. James hands Richardson a resume. James. This guy from Georgia Tech also looks solid. Richardson hands James a resume. Richardson. I found your math wizard for you. Evidently she was a child prodigy. Working as a postdoc at MIT now. Sofia Volkov. By the way, I'm giving you some tech support from another project that just finished. They can be here next week. Also, I can get cryptographers from Fort Eisenhower. James. We need them as soon as the quantum memory is working. We don't know when that'll be. Interior. Quantum lab, next day. The IT hardware arrives, and the new IT people get busy setting it up the Threadrippers, and start running hardware diagnostics on it. Once the diagnostics pass, they start running reliability tests and build the optical LAN. Interior. Equipment shows up at the quantum lab, next day. The IT techs unbox everything and set the lab up. The ceramic oven, the tungsten crucible and tools. The 20 Tesla magnets, and other supplies. Interior. Quantum lab, day. James and the hardware tech fire up the crucible and melt 5 pounds of monazite. James. I'm familiar with monazite and none of the impurities have any magnetic properties. Hardware tech. We need to be very careful with these magnets. Like you said earlier, they could really fuck us up. They rig the magnet up and start purifying europium. They do it continuously for 4 hours and then measure the purity they have. Hardware tech. This is over 6/9% pure. A few more passes and we should be over 7/9 of purity. James. Let's do it. While they are doing this, the new documentation engineer shows up. James. Document all the stuff we are doing now. Use my lab book, and document all of the processes, materials, organization, and results we get. Make sure it is all uploaded onto a secure ARL server. They work for another 2 hours and reach 7/9% purity. Hardware tech. What kind of decoherence time do we have now? James. A minimum of 30 hours. I've got to let Richardson know. Interior. Kruger's office, Pentagon City, day. Kruger, a 2-star general, calls General Richardson. She picks up the phone and dials his number. Kruger. Hello Richardson, this is Kruger. Richardson. Hello General, I take it you saw my email. What can I do for you? Kruger. I want to meet your new shining star, Dr. Williams. Day after tomorrow, come to my office in Pentagon City with him, say 10 o'clock? That work? Richardson. We'll see you then General. Interior. Kruger's office, Pentagon City, day. General Kruger, General Richardson, Colonel Johns, and Dr. Williams meet in the adjacent conference room to Kruger's office. Kruger. Dr. Williams, I've heard your progress from Richardson. I want to hear it from you. James. The physics is fine, so it is just a matter of engineering. We have purified europium to more than 1,000 times what I did in my last job, and this means decoherence times are huge. Kruger. How long until one is working? James. 3 to 6 months, now that I'm sure about the europium purity. She turns and looks at Richardson. Kruger. Give him all the resources he needs. Richardson. Yes sir. Johns. It sounds like your ideas about purification worked. Tell us about the optical interface and software development. James. We haven't started the niobium phosphate yet, but my hardware tech is researching real-world examples from Stanford University. On software, we are hiring a woman who has built her own quantum runtime environment and applications on every platform out there. We expect her to join the team in a week. Interior. James' home office, evening. James is looking at his computer email and notices an email from Liang Mei. James. Either I'm that good, or it seems like she is just fishing for ideas. He opens up her email and reads it. Liang. I'm having lots of problems with thermal noise. Any suggestions? James. Well, isolation, and very cold temperature. Interior. Cyber Command, day. Maya Singh goes to see Larry Mason. Maya. We noticed that China is having problems with thermal noise and vibrations in their quantum efforts. Mason. Good work. Keep an eye on what's going on. Interior. James' home office, day. James gets a mail package. He sees a USB drive inside, a letter from Liang. Inside is a note asking James to look at the data. He plugs the USB drive into his computer. It is about decoherence times versus various techniques to increase it. He writes back in an email that the data seems good and tracks what he is doing, but ARL has restricted his communication about it. Interior. Chengdu facility, night. The display in Chengdu flashes noting the exchange. Interior. Cyber Command facility, day. Cyber Command notes what just happened. Maya Singh, 32, senior cyber analyst, calls her boss, Colonel Larry Mason. He is 42, fit, wearing a tailored uniform. He sees her ID on his phone. Singh. I'm thinking James is compromised. What should we do? Mason. Yeah, I understand. Let's do nothing for now, and see what happens. Interior. Quantum Lab, Day. The IT people assemble the 580 nanowatt laser. They build an interface to the computer, and an optical LAN. The techs smile at each other because things are coming together. Interior. James' home, evening. Liang Wei shares a draft paper with James over email. He downloads it and it is 10 pages on entropy extraction from photon arrival times. James prints it out and studies it. James. This is interesting. I think I can get it through security. My hardware techs need to see this. Interior. Richardson's office, afternoon. James knocks on the open door. Richardson looks up. James. Sir, I just wanted you to know we have purified europium to 8 nines of purity. We can go further but we need new testing equipment. Richardson. That's excellent. How about yttrium? James. It won't be a problem. Even at REC we got very pure yttrium. Interior. Quantum Lab, next day. After they on board, James meets with Sophia, Susan, and Eli. Susan uses a whiteboard to explain things. Susan. These are the systems I've programmed using my Quantum Runtime Environment or QRE. It's all written in Python. We have way more qubits than I've ever used and... James, what is the decoherence time? James. Actually we don't really know except for the worst case. We calculate with the new crystal we'll have over 30 hours. Sophia. Holy shit. We should try and solve a math problem humans haven't solved. Susan. How big is your quantum memory? James. 200,000 qubits. Interior. Quantum Lab, Day. James and the hardware tech work on the next step. James. Now that we have the purified materials, we can build the crystal. Are you ready? Hardware tech. I have carefully weighed the yttrium oxide, europium oxide, and high-purity silica. James. We need to grind them into a fine mixture, then we melt it in the furnace, at 2000 degrees Celsius. They place the mixed powder into a tungsten crucible inside a crystal growth furnace. James. Is the seed ready? Hardware tech. Yeah. The seed crystal is right here. James. Okay, we take the seed crystal of yttrium silicon oxide, and dip it into the molten europium. We slowly pull the seed upward while rotating. Atoms from the melt attach to the seed in an ordered way. Over many hours a large lightly tinted crystal slowly grows into a cylinder. Hardware tech. We can make it long and flat if we rotate the crucible. That's what you want, right? James. Exactly. While we're making the crystal we need to figure out how to deposit the niobium phosphate. Interior. Quantum Lab, afternoon. One of the IT people walks over to James. IT1. James, we are having trouble getting the cryogenic equipment to work. It's cooling all right, but it never gets near 4 degrees Kelvin. Closest we've got is about 60 degrees Kelvin. James walked over to look at it. James. We must have a leak somewhere. IT1. I have no idea how to find it, and if I did, I have no idea what to do about it. James. I'll get us some help. Interior. Quantum Lab, afternoon. James contacts Cryo Cooling Incorporated, CCI, an approved ARL vendor. Interior. Chengdu facility, night. Ming Wang goes to Captain Zhang. Wang. We got a hit on a compromised vendor going to ARL. They are going to work on the quantum memory system. Zhang. Excellent. Interior. Quantum Lab, next day. The CCI team met with James. CCI 1. I've brought radiation and heat shielding experts to fix your problem. James. How long will it take to fix? CCI 1. This is a new system, so it should only take a week, maybe less. A few days later. James and the CCI tech talk. CCI 1. We've got it at 3.8 degrees Kelvin and holding. One of the heat shields was improperly installed. Should be good now. Interior. Quantum Lab, days later. James and the hardware tech work on the europium, yttrium orthosilicate crystals. They are thick discs. James. Use the cerium oxide to prep the crystals for niobium phosphate. They prep the crystals, and when it is cooled down in the cryogenic chamber, the niobium spalls off. James. This is not working right. The niobium keeps spalling off. What do you suggest? Hardware tech. What did the Stanford guys do? James. They cooled the substrate and the niobium down before applying. Hardware tech. Okay, let's try that. Interior. Quantum Lab, day. A polished europium, yttrium orthosilicate crystal and a small device to deposit niobium phosphate sit in the cryogenic chamber. James. Okay, let's deposit our optical interface. Hardware tech. Okay, I'll start the atomic layer deposition, ALD. The hardware tech throws a switch, and they watch the temperature display. Hardware tech. Look, the temperature immediately hopped to 15 degrees Kelvin. The hardware tech carefully coats the crystal and powers off the ALD. They watch carefully as the temperature slowly drops back down to 4 degrees Kelvin. James. I don't see any spalling. Looks like it worked. Interior. Quantum Lab, later. They watch for a few hours and everything looks stable. James walks over to where Susan and Sophia were discussing things with Eli. James. Some good news. We have our crystal. It's ready to be tested. Interior. Quantum Lab, day. Susan. Let's review the memory diagnostic, and test it between the Threadripper and the quantum memory. James. Let's measure the decoherence time. 6 hours later. Susan. The test passed, but why did it take so long? We didn't measure any decoherence time. James. That's excellent about decoherence, but you're right, why was it so long? Interior. Quantum Lab, later. Eli studies the system statistics. Eli. There is something wrong with the DSP and laser communication. The DSP was missing the timing pulses, and just spinning for a while. Let's put scopes on both sides and watch it while we run it again. 2 hours later. Eli. We know what's wrong. The interface on the quantum memory side is looking for sync too soon. We need to engineer a slight delay there. The Threadrippers are clocking, reading, and writing correctly, so if we fix the DSP on the quantum side we should be good. Susan adds a sub-microsecond delay on the quantum side and then starts the diagnostic again. Susan. Look how fast the diagnostic finished. What was that? Not even 5 minutes. Interior. Richardson's office, day. James goes to see Richardson in his office. James. I'm pleased to tell you we have the quantum memory system working, but just diagnostics. However, we don't know what the decoherence times are. Estimates put it over 50 hours. Richardson. That is fabulous news. What are you going to do next? James. I need to talk to the team about that. Oh, by the way. I'd like to take the team out to celebrate. You know, have a little party someplace. Richardson. Absolutely. You have all earned it. Exterior. Gypsy Kitchen DC, dusk. The team arrives at the restaurant. Exterior. Gypsy Kitchen roof deck, evening. Everyone gathers at a large table. A waitress comes over. Waitress. What would you like to drink? Most people order beer or wine. The table buzzes with excitement and James asks Sophia a question. James. What should we do after we get reliability running correctly? Sophia. Math. Susan. What math? Sophia. If you want the world to take you seriously, you need to solve Riemann and Goldbach. That will get you noticed. James. Why? Sophia. Because humans cannot solve these, and they are vastly important to cryptography. Eli. We were just talking about this a couple of weeks ago. Sophia. They are both about prime numbers. Riemann is about distribution, and Goldbach is about additive structure. You have these tools and we are masters of cryptography. Which is why I'm here. Riemann and Goldbach are both about prime numbers, but they ask very different questions. Riemann is about the distribution of primes on the natural number line. Goldbach is about the additive structure of primes. To have these proofs would make us the masters of cryptography. Which is why I'm here. Susan. Just what is Riemann's theorem? Sophia thinks. Sophia. Prime numbers are the atoms of mathematics. Every number is built from them. But they seem to appear in a mysterious, random, and chaotic way. Riemann says that underneath all that there is a hidden rhythm. Sophia takes a sip of her wine. Sophia. The hypothesis is about a special function, called the zeta function. It's the drum beats in a long piece of music. Some are far apart and some are close. And the intro is unique. Sophia scoots her chair in closer. Sophia. The zeta function has special notes on the vibrating string, and they indicate places that are like the nodes. The prime numbers are all zeros, or no vibration. The primes all line up perfectly on one straight line. This is called the critical line. Every prime we know of is on it. The waitress came over and asks if they are ready to order, but James waves her away. He could tell Sophia was going someplace. Waitress. I'll come back later. Sophia. In quantum mechanics, everything is described as energy. A quantum system has a specific set of allowed energy levels. The zeros that are spaced out on the critical line is statistically identical to the way the energy levels are spaced out in a quantum system. Sophia gets a serious look on her face as she puts her hand on the table. Sophia. This link is so strong it is thought to be the key. The energy measuring rule for a quantum system always has energy levels that are real numbers. Lorraine. I'm sorry, but I'm not sure I understand what that means. Sophia. Imagine a musical instrument, where the only notes you can play are really energy levels, the secret numbers you are trying to find. Since a quantum memory can test all possibilities at once using superposition, it could find all these specific energy values, the Riemann zeros. Lorraine. What is superposition? Sophia. A quantum particle isn't just in one state, it's in a multitude of possible states simultaneously. You find out which one by taking a measurement or reading it. Sophia gets a very serious look on her face. Sophia. Here is the best part. We trick the quantum memory. Instead of asking it to solve a really hard math problem, we ask it to find the energy spectrum of our quantum system. If the Riemann hypothesis is true, then every energy level will all be real numbers and sit exactly on the critical line. We will have proved Riemann. Susan starts clapping, and everyone joins in. James holds up his beer. James. To Sophia. Everyone joins the toast. Interior. James' car, late evening. James drives back to Adelphi. James. What did you think of the party? Lorraine. I really enjoyed it. You picked a great spot for us. I think you have a very talented team. You're really going to do it, aren't you? James. Yes. Interior. Quantum Lab conference room, morning. Sophia, Eli, and Susan discuss next steps. Sophia. Solving the Riemann hypothesis would have major implications for math and technology by proving a fundamental rule about prime numbers. This would impact cryptography, quantum physics, and algorithm development. It would also confirm or invalidate countless other mathematical works that depend on it. Interior. Quantum Lab conference room, day. Susan. My QRE will have to be changed to support James' memory system. First is the size. It is huge compared to anything else. Second, we'll need new helper software for the normal computer. Third, we need to turn it into a general-purpose problem-solving machine. Interior. Quantum Lab, days later. Susan and Eli discuss their software. Susan. We have two goals to start. The first is that reading and writing functions normally. This is crucial. Second is the decoherence time. Eli. Here is my code for reading and writing. Eli opens the program up and Susan looks at it. Susan. Looks good to me. Interior. Quantum Lab, Saturday. James walks into the lab to check on the diagnostic and reliability program running. He is surprised to see Richardson and General Maria Barrett. James. Hello. I thought I'd be the only one here. Richardson. I'm showing General Barrett your machine. General Barrett extends her hand. Barrett. Hello, I'm General Maria Barrett. I'm the Pentagon's senior officer in the cybersecurity program. James shakes her hand. James. Nice to meet you. Barrett. You've made impressive progress, Dr. Williams. It's a beautiful machine. What's going on here? James. We are running diagnostic and reliability software. We are also trying to measure the decoherence time. Barrett. What are your next plans? James. We plan to prove some unproven theorems. Barrett. Why would you do that? James. To prove it works. Interior. Quantum Lab conference room, day. Sophia has a discussion with Eli and Susan about writing software to solve Riemann. Sophia. If we imagine Riemann zeros are mysterious notes of music, then we know the notes but not the instrument that produces them. Eli. And the instrument is the quantum system? Sophia. Exactly. Our goal is to find a quantum system whose natural vibrations produce exactly those notes. That system is described by something called an operator and we use the symbol H for it. Susan. I remember from physics that's the Hamiltonian. Sophia. Right. This H is what governs how a quantum system moves or vibrates. Think of H like a violin string. Every physical object has natural frequency vibrations. H acting on a wave gives you energy numbers. They are the notes the system can play. Eli gets excited. Sophia. So we use the quantum memory like a spectral microscope. We guess a candidate H. Our memory simulates H extracting its natural frequencies. We use quantum phase estimation and compare them to the Riemann zero frequencies. If they don't match, we throw that candidate H away and guess another. If they match, we've found the right H. Eli. I get it. The zeta function has special points where it equals 0. They look random, but they're not. Riemann thought they followed a very precise statistical pattern. Sophia. Yes, the key insight is that whenever we have the zeta function equal to 1/2, every one is a vibration frequency of a real quantum system. And we need to find the one with the right statistical pattern. Susan. So here in the real world, the zeros of the zeta function follow the same statistical laws as quantum systems that behave chaotically. We need a system with at least 100,000 qubits to explore that space of chaotic quantum systems fast enough. And the qubits need a long decoherence time. Sophia. When we find an H whose frequencies match the zeta zero frequencies, and assuming all its frequencies are real, we prove Riemann. Susan goes to the whiteboard and writes. Susan. Here is how I break this down. Eli takes the lead with design, build, and run aspects. I'll work on the H guesswork. Sophia, does H have a name? Sophia. Hamiltonian. Susan. Sophia, you work on the math, and we all help with testing. Any issues with QRE are mine. Days later. Interior. Quantum Lab, day. They test the software, and looks solid. Anxiously, they turn it loose. It takes 3 hours and 12 minutes to prove Riemann. Susan. Look, we found the right H after 4,651 attempts. James wondered over. James. Have we proven Riemann? Sophia. We think so, but we want to confirm. Do I have your permission to publish the proof on arXiv? The mathematical community will verify if it's true. James. Make me a PDF, and I'll get permission from Richardson to drop it on the arXiv website. It's worth a lot of money if we did, right? Eli. Yup. $1 million from the Clay Institute. Everyone on the team should get a share, but you and Sophia should get 2 shares. Interior. Richardson's conference room, afternoon. The team gathers in Richardson's conference room. Richardson. We have a lot of happy faces in here. What happened? James. Sophia, this belongs to you. Sophia. We proved Riemann. We want to publish it on arXiv, so others in the math community can verify it. Richardson. Can anyone infer the quantum memory architecture from the proof? James. No. Richardson. Okay, you have permission. How long would it have taken a conventional computer to prove it? Sophia. It is unlikely a conventional computer could ever prove Riemann. Next day. Interior. Quantum Lab conference room, morning. The software team meets to discuss Goldbach. Sophia. The correctness of Riemann helps immensely. His conjecture is a local additive property. Every even number, greater than 2, is the sum of 2 prime numbers. She writes on the whiteboard, n equals p1 plus p2. Sophia. It requires showing there are always enough primes close together to add up to any even number. First, the quantum memory would create a special quantum state called the prime state. This state uses superposition to have the qubits represent all prime numbers simultaneously. Next, we create a thing I like to call the oracle. This part of our circuit would use a quantum implementation of a fast primality test to identify primes. The resulting quantum state would be a superposition of all numbers, but with non-prime terms having zero amplitude. Sophia writes the formula for the proof on the board. Sophia. To check Goldbach for a specific even number n, follow these steps. Susan, I'll use your quantum adder circuit from the QRE library. Susan. Let's divide up the coding responsibility. Interior. James home, dusk. Lorraine comes into the house with a bag of reference books. James walks over and they kiss hello. She puts her books down. James. How was the traffic? Lorraine. Not bad. What did you get for dinner? James. Stuff for spaghetti, a baguette, salad stuff, and a good red wine. Lorraine. I brought a lot of work with me. James goes to the counter, opens the wine, and pours 2 glasses. He walks to couch and hands Lorraine a glass. James. Here you go. To your midterms. They toast. Lorraine. I'm hungry. James. I'll start cooking in a moment. I've been meaning to tell you that solving Riemann is $1 million prize. I think Goldbach is too. Lorraine. Are you all going to share it? James. Yup. Lorraine. You know, you should write a book. They toast again. Interior. Quantum lab, days later. Susan. I'm not making any progress on the bug. In the QRE. I'm sure it's QRE and not the code we're working on for Goldbach. Eli. Remember the odd thing we saw testing Riemann? Susan. You mean with the DSPs? Eli. Yeah, there was something goofy with the hardware. Interior. Quantum lab, afternoon. A-Tech works to install monitoring equipment per Susan's instructions. Hardware tech. I need to place this recording device and check the timing and busy done logic. Oh, shit. These are sparks and smoke. Susan. What happened? Hardware tech. I just blew up a whole row of D.S.PS. It was an accident or rather stupidity on my part. Interior. Quantum lab, next day. James. You're frying the D.S.PS have given me an idea. Hardware tech. Hopefully not firing me. James laughs. James. No. We can miniaturize things even more if I replace the D.S.PS with A.S.I.CS. They maximize performance, have minimum power consumption, and are smaller, highly integrated hardware. I'll need a budget for it, but I think I can get it. Help me work up a budget. Interior. Quantum lab, days later. Sophia, Eli, and Susan work on the Goldbach code. Eli. Now that the D.S.PS are fixed, we can start testing again. Did you find anything in QRE? Susan. Yes, the semiconductor memory buffer allocation needed to be much larger. I don't know how I missed it. It wasn't a big deal for Riemann, but it is for Goldbach. Sophia. We can start testing when you're ready. The build is solid. When we test, make sure the error function does not blow up, the convolution formula never becomes imaginary, and the algorithm will actually halt at some pointerior. Eli. You worried about decoherence? Sophia. I'm worried about everything. They test the software for several hours. Susan. This is holding together just fine. I think we should try to prove Goldbach now. Sophia. I agree. Interior. Quantum Lab, afternoon. James meets the hardware engineer in the conference room. He looks up as Susan comes over. Susan. Hey James. We have the bugs worked out and are ready to try a formal run. Are we good? James gives a thumbs up signal. Interior. Quantum Lab, afternoon. Susan comes into the lab. Susan. James gave the go-ahead. Sophia starts the program running. 2 hours later. Sophia walks over and grabs the printout. She reads the output carefully, then looks at James. She nods yes. Interior. Quantum Lab, afternoon. Sophia sends by internal emails the proof to all the team members. Sophia. Here is our proof of the Goldbach conjecture. I want everyone to read this over the weekend. We'll have a group discussion Monday morning about if we are ready to publish this. Do not under any circumstances share this with anyone outside the lab until we all agree. Interior. Quantum Lab conference room, morning. James' entire staff meets in the conference room. Sophia. Looks like everyone is here. James. Let's roll. Sophia. Who has questions about the proof? Susan. What step is impossible without Riemann? Sophia. Square root cancellation of prime errors. Eli. What is your convolution formula? Sophia got up and walked to the whiteboard. James. If Riemann is true, it does not mean Goldbach has to be true. What would make it true? Sophia. The prime distribution is rigid enough to force overlap. Which evidently seems to be the case. Susan. No one here is an expert in mathematics like you. How do we have proof that what our quantum memory did is in fact a proof? Sophia. The same way we did with Riemann. Let the mathematical world read it and throw rocks at it. We publish it on archive. James. By a show of hands, who thinks we should publish it on archive? There is a universal show of hands. James. I'll get permission from Richardson again. Sophia. Once you get permission, I'll put it on archive. Assuming it is solid, and James gets permission, we'll win. Another $1 million. I've talked with James and we agreed, everyone here gets a share. Both James and I get 2 shares. Is everyone good with this? The team in the conference room claps and whistles. Interior. Quantum Lab, afternoon. James works on the ASIC to replace the D.S.PS when Richardson walks in. Richardson. You wanted to see me? James. Yes, the team managed to prove another unproven proof, the Goldbach conjecture. We'd like your permission to publish it on archive like Riemann. Is that okay? Richardson. Our design cannot be inferred like before, right? James. Yes sir, that's correct. Richardson. Then you have my permission, and congratulations to you, and the team. Interior. Richardson's office, next day. Kruger calls. Richardson. Hello, this is General Richardson. Kruger. Richardson, this is Kruger. Cyber Command discovered that ARL has published 2 important mathematical proofs. Why did you let your team publish this? You just told the whole fucking world we have a working quantum memory that crushes what they have. Richardson. I was told no one could infer our architecture from the papers. Kruger. I want this project changed to top secret now. You are getting my best security manager to help you sort this. You are going to have a come to Jesus discussion with Dr. Williams and his team. This quantum memory could break our nuclear codes, destroy our financial systems, reveal all our covered agents. I could go on. I'm sure you know how important this is. Richardson. I made a stupid mistake not realizing the world would know we have a large working quantum computer. Interior. Richardson's conference room, day. James and his entire team meet with Richardson. Richardson. I just got my ass chewed by General Kruger. Publishing the papers was a huge mistake, and she could easily fire me for it. I need to be very clear on something. Can the architecture be inferred from the archive publications? James. No, sir. Richardson. Okay, my next question. Why did you do it? James. Well, you did give us permission. Richardson visibly winces. Sophia. James, can I answer this? James. Sure. Sophia. General, these are not simple proofs, no human has ever solved them. We needed to be certain the quantum memory system really worked. The only way to do that was to have the finest mathematical minds in the world review them. James. Sir, we had to be sure we were right. Richardson. Okay. Here are some facts. The head of ARL wants this project classified as top secret. Nothing may leave the lab, absolutely nothing. An additional layer of physical security will be added. All people coming and going into the lab will be searched and screened. Anyone caught violating this may be arrested and charged with espionage. There is a new security manager from General Kruger who will oversee all of this. I want you to give this person your full support. As a final note, you will all be required to sign a new contract with the Army Research Labs. Interior. James' home, evening. James and Lorraine eat dinner and talk about their possible future. James. Have you thought about us getting married? Lorraine. Are we at that point in our relationship? James. Maybe not. But suppose we did. Lorraine. I still have a way to go with medical school internship, etc. James. I thought you mainly went to medical school to further your research. Lorraine. True, but I may still choose to do that so I know what being a doctor is like. James. Maybe after that. Lorraine. Why are you bringing this up now? James. I'm at a point in my life where it's something I want. Lorraine. Just for the sake of discussion, would you want to live here? James. I'm basically in a good position as far as work is concerned. Lorraine. I like the area around the school. It could also be a place to do research. James. There's research around here too, a lot of it. Lorraine. I don't have to decide quite yet. James. Do you think you want children someday? Lorraine. I think about it, but I'm not in any hurry. I have a few years before my clock runs down. James. Okay. Okay. Don't mean to get into an argument about this. Lorraine. How is it going with you? James. Work is good. I'm making progress. But we had a kerfuffle about publishing papers about our work. Lorraine. Why would that be a problem? Don't scientists normally publish their work to get feedback? James. True, but in this case the government didn't see it that way. They were afraid that we had exposed national security secrets. Lorraine. That's pretty heavy. James. The upshot is that we had to sign a new contract with pretty severe terms. We can't say anything to anyone on the outside from now on pain of being fired or worse. Interior. Kruger's office, morning. General Richardson meets with General Kruger. Kruger sits behind her large desk and Richardson sits in the guest chair. Kruger. I've got a list of priorities from the Joint Chiefs. Richardson. Okay. Kruger. The first thing, of course, is to protect our own sensitive data. We can probably use post-quantum encryption for that. They already have a department-wide effort going on that. Richardson. That's good to hear. Kruger. The number one thing you can do with your quantum systems is to help us crack the Russian codes. They probably understand about post-quantum encryption, but they have to move quickly. As long as any systems are exposed, we have a chance to get what they want to hide. Richardson. I think our new guy can help with that. Kruger. We hope so. Once we have a good quantum system, there are a lot of other important things we can do with it. We know there are civilian applications for this, but we're going to keep it for ourselves for now. Richardson. Seems like a good plan. If we want to do a lot of things with it, we're going to need a lot of units. Kruger. So your people should get cracking on that. And remember, we can't have any more fuck-ups on security. Interior. Arl Quantum Lab, afternoon. Richardson meets James in Richardson's office. Richardson. I just came back with a meeting with Kruger about our priorities. James. What did she say? Richardson. We need to move fast on decryption. The department already has a major effort going on post-quantum encryption, but that's going to take a while. In the meantime, we need to protect our launch codes and other high-priority data. James. I understand. Richardson. Once we have the encryption for our systems, we need the decryption to use against the Russians and Chinese before they are able to protect their systems. How long before you can get the encryption? James. Let me talk to my people. Interior. Quantum Lab meeting room, morning. James, Sophia, Susan, and Eli meet to discuss how to do encryption with their system. James. What will it take to get the primes to encrypt our data? Susan. I worked with something like this at IBM. With our system we can generate a truly random series of bits. The quantum system can turn that into a number. Then we can test that number to make sure it is a prime. If it's not, we can repeat the process until we get a true prime. James. How long will that take? Susan. A couple of days, with any luck. Interior. Susan's workstation, afternoon. Susan uses a private AI on her workstation to generate Python code to generate random bits to run on the quantum system. She examines the code to find bugs. Susan. To herself. Oops, I forgot to tell it the string should be 4096 bits long. She makes the correction and checks the code again. Susan. To herself. Looks about right. She copies the code to a thumb drive and walks over to the quantum system. Interior. Quantum Lab, afternoon. Susan plugs the thumb drive into one of the Threadripper computers and loads the program. She runs it and gets the first set of bits. She checks to see if it is a prime. Susan. To herself. Damn. Not prime. She runs it several times more until she gets a true prime number. Interior. James' workstation, afternoon. Susan walks over to James' cubicle. Susan. I've got the code working for generating a prime. James. Great. I'll call Richardson. Interior. ARL Security Office, morning. Richardson, James, and Susan meet with the people in charge of cybersecurity for ARL. Colonel Ted Myers, 48, black, represents ARL Security. Myers. I hear you've got something for us. Richardson. Yup, we do. Truly prime numbers to use for encryption. Myers. Do you understand how we do things? Richardson. Not completely. Myers. Currently, we feed our numbers into something called the hardware security model. Those numbers come from our random number generators which, as you know, are not truly random. And that's a problem. Richardson. We can give you true prime numbers because we can generate truly random bits. Myers. We've been waiting for that for years. Lately we've been very nervous about the possibility that the Russians or Chinese would get this first. Richardson. We're aware of that. Myers. So how do we do this? Richardson. We could send you numbers through a secure network. Myers. We really need to run this ourselves. Can you get us a copy of your chip? We can run it on our own computers. Susan. That may be a problem because of difference in software. The best solution is to have a duplicate of our system. Myers. How long will that take? Richardson. James? James. I can make the memory chip in a couple of days. The Threadrippers are in high demand, so that may take longer. Myers. Any idea how long? Richardson. We'll check and get back to you. 2 weeks later. Interior. Cybersecurity Systems Room, morning. James and Susan work with the cybersecurity people to set up the new quantum system. Myers. You're sure we can't run this on our own computers? Susan. This is not like installing a new printer. There's a bunch of things that have to be done right for this to work. Myers. Maybe we can do that later. James. We'll be more than willing to help. A lot more organizations need this, so we want to have a refined process for doing it. Interior. Quantum Lab Meeting Room, morning. James meets with Sophia, Susan, and Eli about attacking Russian encryption. James. How are we going to crack the Russian codes? Sophia. Shor's algorithm is the key to that. James. What's that about? Sophia. It's a fast way to find the prime numbers that make up an encryption key. Once we solve that, we can apply the solution to a sample of the Russian data and get their keys. With your quantum memory, we have enough qubits to get the solution. You have 200,000 clean qubits, and we only need 40,000 to crack their code. James. Susan, how long will it take you to write the software? Susan. A couple of weeks, tops. We've already done the heavy lifting on this. 3 weeks later. Interior. Quantum Lab, afternoon. James, Sophia, Susan, and Eli gather around the Threadripper systems to watch the software run. Eli operates the system. Eli. It should just take a few minutes. The watch eagerly. Eli. Here it is. They all stare at the screen. It shows 2 prime numbers. James. Great work. I'll tell Richardson. Interior. Cybersecurity Systems Room, morning. James, Sophia, Susan, and Eli meet with Colonel Myers. Susan hands Myers a thumb drive. Susan. This is it. Myers. Let's see how it runs. Myers hands the drive to a technician, who plugs it into a Threadripper and runs the program. 2 numbers pop out. The same number as the team got in the quantum lab. Myers. Looks good to me. We'll put this to work. Interior. Russian Federal Security Services, noon. Sergei Rostov, 35, a senior analyst, notices the publication of the Riemann proof and Goldbach proof on archive. He runs to the office of General Vladimir Antonov, 62, chief of the section. Rostov. General Antonov, I've just seen something very important. Antonov. What could be so important that you run into my office without knocking? Can't you see that I'm having my lunch? Rostov. I'm so sorry to interrupt you, sir, but this is really important. Antonov. Tell me. Rostov. You know that part of my duty is to monitor new scientific papers. Antonov. Yes. Rostov. One of the places I watch is called Archive. I just noticed that some Americans have published proofs of some very old, unsolved, difficult mathematical problems. Antonov. What's so important about that? Rostov. This probably means that the Americans have built a very large quantum computer. If that is true, they could break our encryption and read all our secrets. General Antonov almost chokes on his food, spitting it out. Antonov. Shit. We must tell President Putin about this immediately. Interior. President Putin's conference room, morning. President Vladimir Putin, 73, sits at the head of the long table, and Antonov sits to his right. Putin rubs his hands together because he has arthritis in them. Putin. I was told that you have something very important to tell me. Antonov. Mr. President, I have information that the Americans have made a computer that can crack all our codes and reveal all our secrets. Putin. What? I've been told that's impossible. Antonov. Up until now, it has been. Now, everything is changed. Everything. Nothing is safe. Nothing is secret. Putin. What are we going to do about that? Antonov. The first job is to apply post-quantum encryption to our most sensitive systems, and get every other agency and business to do the same. But that will take some time. There will be openings in our systems until everyone is doing the new encryption. Putin. What else? Antonov. We must get our hands on the design for the American system. Putin. How are you going to do that? Antonov. It can't look like the FSB is doing it. I have a man in St. Petersburg who can probably handle this. He's a criminal, but also a patriot. Putin. Keep me informed. Interior. Antonov's office, afternoon. Antonov calls his man in St. Petersburg. Ivan Papanov, 55, strong-looking, buzz-cut hair, answers. Papanov. Papanov here. Antonov. Ivan Papanov, this is Vladimir Antonov. Popanov. How good to hear from you. It's been a while. Antonov. My duties keep me busy. Popanov. If you called, you must want something from me. Antonov. Yes, I need you to have your people in America do some work for us. POPANOV. Does that us include President Putin? NTONOV. I can't really say, but yes, higher authority is interested in this. POPANOV. Tell me about it. NTONOV. Some American scientists have published some very important papers recently. We need to know if there is a way we can get them to help us with some information. POPANOV. And this is something you can't do? NTONOV. We recognize that you have some ability to get things done. POPANOV. That is true. There will be some risk involved in this. ANTONOV. I can assure you that certain people will appreciate your help. POPANOV. Send me the information in the usual way. I'll see what we can do. Interior. Russian mob headquarters, New York City, night. Dmitry Ivanov, 66, gets a call from Ivan Papanov. POPANOV. We have a job for you. Ivanov. What is it? POPANOV. We need to gather information about some people who work at the Army Research Lab. Ivanov. May I ask why you need this? POPANOV. I can't tell you. I can tell you that this comes from the top. If you do well, you will be rewarded. Ivanov. Okay. Send me the information. Interior. Russian mob headquarters, New York City, evening. Dmitry Ivanov calls Ivan Papanov. Ivanov. I have information for you. POPANOV. What is it? Ivanov. The project lead behind has a girlfriend. We can kidnap her to put the squeeze on him. POPANOV. Would it be hard to grab her? Ivanov. She's a student who walks to school the same way every day. POPANOV. Okay. Let me confirm this and I'll get back to you. The next day. Interior. Russian mob headquarters, New York City, evening. Ivan Papanov calls Dmitry Ivanov. Ivanov touches his phone. Ivanov. Ivanov here. POPANOV. The plan is approved, but we have to wait for the right time to do it. Organize your people so you can move on a moment's notice. Ivanov. We'll be ready. Interior. General Antonov's office, morning. General Antonov calls Sergei Rostov. Rostov. Rostov here. ANTONOV. Sergei Rostov, this is General Antonov. Rostov. General Antonov, it's good to hear from you. How can I help you? ANTONOV. I'm calling in regard to the American computer situation. Rostov. Yes. ANTONOV. We have a plan for getting that design, and we need your help to monitor the situation. Rostov. We watch the American labs routinely. ANTONOV. This is special. We are guessing that the Chinese are also looking at this, so I want you to monitor them to see if there is any traffic about this. Rostov. You can rely on us. Interior. Chinese intelligence, Chengdu, morning. Ming Wang, 37, senior analyst, noticed the same papers as the Russians. Interior. Chinese intelligence, Chengdu, morning. Ming Wang goes to her boss, Captain Ling Zhang, 56. Wang. I just noticed something very important. Zhang. What is that? Wang. the Americans have published proofs of two very old, unproven math problems. These proofs were done at the Army Research Lab. Zhang. Why is this important? Wang. Those papers indicate that the American military has built a large quantum computer that can break our codes. Zhang. That would be catastrophic for us. Wang. I know. What do you think we should do about it? Zhang. We do have an operative in the US that may be able to help. She's in contact with someone who works at the US Army Research Lab on quantum systems. She is very pretty and sexy. Wang. If the contact is male, we might be able to use her as a honeypot to entrap him. Zhang. Do you think sex will work? Wang. Not if he has a girlfriend or wife. Zhang. Find out about that. Wang. One other thing. Zhang. What? Wang. Our operative is also working in the field of quantum systems. He may be willing to talk shop with her. Zhang. In the meantime, work on getting the information through our cyber systems. Interior. Chinese intelligence, Chengdu, afternoon. Ming Wang meets with a technician to confirm that all the pieces are in place. Wang. What have you got so far? Technician. We have servers in a dozen locations. We rotate the network fingerprints to blend in with other traffic, so we're extremely hard to find. Wang. What about penetrating the Army Research Lab? Technician. Their security is very good. We didn't press too hard. Even then, they might have noticed us. Interior. A cyber command, morning. Maya calls her boss, Larry Mason. Mason. What's up, Maya? Sing. We're seeing an increased number of probes from the Chinese. Mason. Any idea what they are trying to get? Sing. That's above my pay grade. Anyway, they didn't get through and there hasn't been any activity for a while. Mason. What do you want to do? Sing. For now, we should just monitor all systems and see what else they try. Days later. Interior. A cyber command, afternoon. Maya Singh meets with Larry Mason to report her findings. Mason. What are you seeing so far? Singh. We found some vendors that need to tighten their security. We're watching to make sure they do it. Our penetration testers have it as a top priority. Mason. Anything else? Singh. The biggest thing we've found is a meeting scheduler that's open to the net. It has to be that way to manage meetings with people from outside, but it's a hole. We've heightened surveillance on it. Mason. What's the long-term solution? Singh. Ultimately, our best solution is to make them think they got whatever they want. We can set up a honeypot with a poisoned payload. Mason. How do you know what to put in it? Singh. At the moment, we don't. Mason. Any idea what the biggest target might be? Singh. At the moment, cybersecurity is it. The top of the list all through the dot. Any project linked to protecting against us or breaking our encryption could be a priority. Mason. I'll ask around and see what it might be. Interior. Richardson's office, morning. Colonel Mason meets General Richardson. Mason. Thanks for making time for me. Richardson. You said this is important. Mason. It is. Richardson. Tell me more. Mason. Lately, we've seen a lot more activity from the Chinese cyber army. We think they are after something big, but we don't know what it is, yet. Richardson. The army has a lot of high-value projects going. Mason. And yours is one of them. Richardson. It's right up there with hypersonic missiles and space warfare. Mason. So you could be a target. Mason pauses. Mason. We think you should act on the assumption that it's true. Richardson. What do you have in mind? Mason. According to my people, the final defense will be something they call a honeypot. Richardson. What's that? Mason. It's something that looks real but isn't. For example, it could be a real directory on a server that contains inaccurate documents. Richardson. How would that work? Mason. If the Chinese get into our systems and get those documents, they won't actually be able to use them. Their systems will blow up, figuratively speaking. Richardson. Won't they know that they are bad? Mason. Almost everything about them will be legitimate. But deep inside there will be something invisible that makes them useless. Richardson. What do we need to do for this? Mason. I'll send one of my people to work with your people. Interior. Quantum Lab Meeting Room, afternoon. Maya Singh meets with James. James. In understand you have ways to protect our information from cyber spies. Singh. We do. What types of information do you have? James. Drawings, spreadsheets, documents, databases, code. Singh. And all of it lives on your servers? James. Yes. Singh. We have ways to protect all of those formats. For example, we can put bad pixels into drawings that will lock systems that try to print them. With documents, we can put invisible code into the metadata. James. How do we manage that? Singh. We'll make a directory that has the same name as your working directory and add backup to the name. We'll put updated documents into it to make it seem more real. Hopefully, they will think it's easier to attack the backup than the main folder. Interior. James' home, evening. James watches a video about quantum computing on YouTube. He gets an idea for the project and writes it down on a piece of paper. Interior. ARL Security Office, morning. James checks in as usual. He hands his notes to the officer, who briefly looks at them and hands them back. Interior. James' home, evening. James sits at his desk writing notes. He gets a call from Lorraine. As usual, James uses speakerphone mode. He is not aware that Cyber Command has turned on his phone's camera. They can see what he is writing. It's notes about improving the purity of europium. Nothing unusual. Exterior. Johns Hopkins campus, morning. Lorraine walks to the cafeteria following her usual route. A white van drives up beside her. The side door opens. Two rough-looking men grab her and force her into the van. The door slides shut and the van drives away. Exterior. Warehouse, morning. A man pushes the sliding door aside. The white van drives in. Interior. Warehouse, morning. The side door of the van opens. Two men carry Lorraine out and take her to a door at the back of the warehouse. Interior. Warehouse, morning. The men push Lorraine into a small room. The walls haven't been painted in decades. There is no window. A bare light bulb hangs from the ceiling, casting harsh light in the room. There is a chair under the light, and a cot against one of the walls. One of the men hands Lorraine a hospital gown. Thug. Put this on. Lorraine. Over my clothes? Thug. No. Take off your clothes, and I mean everything. Thug hands her a bag. Thug. Put them in this. Lorraine. You can't be serious. Thug. I'm very serious. Do it. Lorraine. With you watching? Thug. We'll turn our backs. Lorraine. How can I trust you? Thug. We have our orders. If we mistreat you in any way, we will be severely punished. Lorraine hesitates. Lorraine. Turn away. The men turn. Lorraine turns her back to them. She takes off her shoes, blouse, slacks, bra, and panties and throws them in the bag. She puts on the gown. Lorraine. Okay. I've changed. Thug. Sit in the chair. Lorraine sits, arranging the gown as best she can. The thug takes out his cell phone and hands her a piece of paper. Thug. When I tell you to start, read this paper. The thug starts his phone-making video. Thug. Okay. Read it now. Lorraine studies the paper for a moment. Lorraine. James, I have to tell you something and you must pay strict attention. After Lorraine finishes reading, she hands the paper back to the thug. He stops filming. Before he leaves, he points to another part of the room. Thug. See that door in the corner? That's the toilet. No window, either. We'll bring you food. The thugs close the door behind them. She hears the sound of a padlock being closed on the other side of the door. Exterior. Metro stop near Pentagon City, late afternoon. James waits for the next bus. He's surrounded by the usual crowd of suits and uniforms. Someone briefly bumps against him. Nothing unusual. Then he notices a bulge in his pocket. He reaches in and pulls out a flip phone. Interior. James home, dusk. When James gets home, he opens the flip phone and sees a message on the screen. Call this number, 467-589-2012. He calls the number. A voice with a Russian accent answers. Thug. Is this James? James. Yes. Thug. There's a video on the phone. Watch it. James presses the menu button, then selects the media player. Interior. James home, evening. Lorraine on the phone screen, her face streaked with tears. Lorraine. James, please listen carefully. I've been kidnapped. The people who kidnapped me want information about your project. If they don't get it, they will kill me. If you tell the police or military, they will know, and they will kill me. After you give them the information, they will let me go if their experts says it's good. If it's not, they will kill me and come after you. They will be in touch through this phone. James sits down heavily, shaking violently. A few days later. Interior. Cybersecurity offices, morning. Mason gets a call from Singh. Singh. We've noticed that James has not been talking to his girlfriend very much lately. Mason. And? Singh. It may not mean anything. Maybe they are too busy to talk. Maybe they broke up. Nothing important. Or possibly important, given James's role in Richardson's quantum computing project. Mason. Look into it, but don't stir up any dust. A week later. Interior. Cybersecurity offices, morning. Mason gets a call from Singh. Mason. Found anything? Sing. We watched her home and her route to school for several days. No sign of her. We knew she always went to the cafeteria for lunch, so we checked with some people there. Mason. Find anything? Sing. We found someone who saw someone, a woman, being dragged into a van. Or, at least, that's what they thought. They saw. Mason. Did they report it to campus police? Sing. No. They weren't sure of what they saw and they didn't want to get involved. Interior. Chinese intelligence, Chengdu, afternoon. Ming Wang probes the scheduling app at ARL. She finds a new maintenance call scheduled for the vendor that works on the cryo system. Their technicians have escorted access to work on the system. Ming adds some metadata to the appointment record. Once inside ARL, it will be triggered when the technician opens the appointment to take notes. The metadata code will probe the directories on the Threadripper computers for signs of the Quantum Project data. Interior. Quantum Lab, morning. The cryo technician opens his laptop next to the Threadripper computers. The metadata code executes and gets a list of the directories on the computers using Bluetooth. When the computers were installed, no one had thought to turn that off because the systems were air-gapped. Interior. Cryo Cooling Inc. office, late afternoon. The technician drives his van into the garage. He sets his laptop on a workbench. It connects to the company's Wi-Fi. Interior. Chinese intelligence, Chengdu, morning. When Ming Wang turns on her computer, she sees an email generated by the malware at Cryo Cooling. She opens the attachment and finds a list of the folders on the Quantum Lab computers. One says QC Project Backup. Interior. James' home, evening. James gets a call from the Russian mob. Thug. You know who this is? James. I do. Thug. You know what we want? James. I do. Thug. How long will it take? James. I'm not sure I can do it. Things have gotten much tighter since Ed Snowden. There is no way I can get papers, much less a thumb drive, out of there. Thug. How is your memory? James. Pretty good. Thug. Here's what you're going to do. Every night when you come home, write down everything you remember. If you came up with the idea, you probably know the most important parts. Don't do it on your computer. Don't keep your phone next to you. You have 1 week. You know what happens if you fail. Exterior. Park, dusk. James takes a walk to clear his head. James. In his head. I'm so fucked. If I don't do this, Lorraine will die. I'll die. If not, I may spend the rest of my life in prison for espionage. Head down, he walks on. He makes agitated gestures. James. We talked about whether any one government should have this technology. Maybe if I help the Russians it will level the playing field. It might be good for the world. Act 3. Interior. Cybersecurity offices, morning. Maya Singh meets with Larry Mason. Mason. How's it going? Singh. We're keeping the poison pills up to date. When they download it, it will look good no matter how they test it. All of the data will break when they try to run it, and they won't be able to find the cause. Mason. That fits within our scope. No hostile action. Just bad data. Interior. Chinese intelligence, Chengdu, afternoon. Captain Zhang, Ming Wang, and assorted technicians convene in the systems room. Zhang. Let's start the exfiltration. They watch as the bar display counts up, 10%, 25%, 60%, 95%, 100%. Zhang. Good work. Proceed to analysis. Interior. Cybersecurity offices, evening. Mason and Singh watch the Chinese download the data in the honeypot. Mason. 100%. Got M. Singh. Eat that, suckers. Interior. Chinese intelligence, Chengdu, afternoon. The group watches while a technician analyzes the download. Technician. Everything looks good, Captain. Zhang. Put one of the drawing files together and print it out. The technician combines the files and starts rendering the drawing. It runs for a few minutes and then the system locks. Zhang. Reboot. Try it again. The technician restarts the system and tries to open the file. Same result. Zhang. Fucking Americans. They sent us a honeypot sweet and filled with trash. Damn them. Damn. 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 Partial success. I hate having to report this. The bosses won't be happy. Interior. Cybersecurity offices, morning. Larry gets a call from his boss, General Mark Abrams, 63. Abrams. I heard from the Joint Chiefs. Mason. What did they say? Abrams. They congratulated you on your success. Good plan, well executed, no losses of vital information. Mason. Where do they want to go from here? Abrams. They aren't going to bring any charges. They could confront the Chinese ambassador, but that won't stop them. They did take note of that Chinese woman who talked to your guy. Maybe we can turn her in exchange for her freedom. Mason. That's a great idea. Anything else? Abrams. That attack came through a low-level contractor. We probably have a lot more holes to fix. They're raising the priority level on that. Interior. James' bedroom, evening. James sits at a TV table in the corner of his bedroom. He draws sketches and writes notes on a legal pad. 3 days later. Interior. James' bedroom, evening. James opens the burner phone and calls the Russians. James. I've got the information as best as I can. Thug. You better hope it's good enough. James. I've covered all the key elements. They'll have to figure out some of the details themselves. Thug. Okay. Put it in an envelope and put the envelope in your trash bag tomorrow. Tie a string around it so we know which one it is. James. I need to see Lorraine to make sure she's still alive. Interior. Warehouse, evening. The thug turns on his phone camera and points it at Lorraine. She sits in the chair. She is disheveled but otherwise looks okay. Thug. Okay? James. On phone. I guess so. Exterior. Outside James' home, early morning. James comes out the door with the garbage bag. He puts the bag in the trash bin and rolls the bin to the curbside. A half-hour later, a garbage truck stops and empties the bin. The truck drives away. 2 ordinary-looking cars follow it. Exterior. Several blocks from James' home, early morning. The cars follow the truck until they are sure they are not being followed. Then one car pulls in front of the truck and forces it to stop. The other car blocks the rear. A thug gets out of the front car, goes up to the truck, opens the door, and talks to the driver. He gives the driver $100. The driver opens the back and the thug pulls out James' bag. The thug gets back in the front car and both cars drive away. Interior. Russian mob boss office, St. Petersburg afternoon. The boss rips open the envelope and flips through the contents. He calls his assistant. Popanov. Make 2 copies of this and bring them back to me. When the assistant returns, Popanov calls General Antonov in Moscow. Antonov. Ivan Popanov, how good to hear from you. Do you have something for me? Popanov. Vladimir Antonov, I have good news for you. The documents are in my hand. Antonov. Send them to me. I'll let you know if our scientists think they are good. The next day. Interior. Russian mob boss office, St. Petersburg afternoon. The phone rings. Antonov. Comrade Popanov, I have good news for you. Our experts say the information is good as far as it goes. They are confident they can fill in the missing pieces. Popanov. Comrade Antonov, I am very pleased to hear that. I will inform our people in America. Antonov hangs up. Popanov calls his people in the US. Popanov. Dmitry Ivanov. I have good news for you. The information is good. You can release the girl. Exterior. Washington, D.C., Prince George's Plaza Station, evening. The thugs drop Lorraine off near a metro station. They give her a $50 bill for cab fare. Thug. We are sorry for any suffering you had. It's just business. Lorraine flags a cab. Exterior. James' home, evening. Lorraine gets out of the cab, walks up to the door, and rings the bell. James opens the door, sees her, and gives her a big hug. James. I'm so glad you're safe. Lorraine. So am I. It was horrible. They go inside, closing the door. Interior. Russian mob boss office, St. Petersburg afternoon. Dmitry Ivanov meets with his second-in-command, Alexander Petrov. Petrov. I called my contact at the Chinese embassy and told him what we have. Ivanov. You did what? Petrov. I called my China guy. I think we can make a lot of money with this thing you got from America. Ivanov. You asshole. What made you think Moscow would approve of this? Petrov. Don't they like money? Ivanov. Yes, but they hate the Chinese. Petrov. That's not our problem, is it? Ivanov. Did you give any thought to possible harm to our motherland? Petrov. I don't care about that. I just care about money. Ivanov. I do care about the motherland. I served her faithfully for many years. Petrov. You and your stupid patriotism. Ivanov. I don't think it's stupid. Our motherland makes it possible to do what we do. Petrov. If you're not willing to sell it, I am. Ivanov. Over my dead body. Petrov. So be it. Petrov pulls a small pistol and shoots Ivanov several times in the chest. Ivanov collapses back into his chair. Petrov grabs the papers and leaves. Exterior. Phone booth in metro station, Moscow, afternoon. Petrov calls his Chinese contact, Bing Lu, 30, low-level officer. Petrov. Mr. Lu, I have good news for you. I have the design. Lu. And I have good news for you. Beijing has approved your price. We should meet. Petrov. We have a dacha outside of Moscow. I'll text you the address. It's not far. Can we meet at 10 a.m. tomorrow? Lou. We'll be there with the money. Interior. Dacha outside Moscow, morning. Petrov and Lou sit in overstuffed chairs on opposite sides of a low table. Their men stand behind them. They all look nervous. Petrov slides the envelope with the papers across to Lou. Lou opens the envelope, pulls out the papers, flips through them. Lou. These look legitimate. Lou pushes a briefcase across the table to Petrov. Petrov opens the case and sees large denomination rubles on top. He picks up a pack and flips through it. Under the bills, it's just paper. Petrov. You. Petrov reaches for his pistol, but the Chinese are a little bit faster because they know this is coming. Petrov gets off a couple of wild shots, wounding one of the Chinese. His men also draw their pistols, but too late. The Chinese pull out tiny .32 caliber Scorpion submachine guns and kill all the Russians. Exterior. Dacha outside Moscow, morning. The Chinese get in their car and drive away. Interior. Putin's office, afternoon. General Antonov reports the incident to Putin. Putin is furious. Putin. Punish them. Interior. Mob office in St. Petersburg, afternoon. A new man has taken over. He and his soldiers are celebrating. A woman delivers food to them. Exterior. Mob office in St. Petersburg, afternoon. The windows of the office building blow out. Interior. Cybersecurity offices, morning. A cybersecurity officer leads James into an interrogation room. The room is dark except for a light over the table. The light shines on James. The interrogator sits in the shadow. Interrogator. Do you know what you've done? James. No. Interrogator. You've committed treason. We could imprison you for life, possibly even execute you. James shudders. Interrogator. But we're not going to do that. We have uses for you. James, we own you. Never forget that. Do what you're told to do. Exterior. Capitol Mall, Washington, D.C., afternoon. James and Lorraine have a picnic. It's a beautiful sunny day. If they look in one direction, they can see the Lincoln Memorial. In the other direction, they see the Washington Monument piercing the sky. Lorraine is happy. James gazes at the scene with a serious look in his eyes. Interior. Putin's office, afternoon. General Antonov reports to Putin. Putin. What progress can you report? Antonov. We have the encryption problem under control, and that also solves the network problem. Putin. What's next? Antonov. As you directed, we are getting ready to punish the West for the war we are fighting in Ukraine. We're going to hit the European Central Bank and the Bank for International Settlements. That evil bank is still run by Nazis. Interior. Chin's robot factory, morning. Technicians install a quantum system in a robot while President Xi watches. 11. If the Americans attack us, we will have many thousands of these waiting for them. Fade out.